Guys all good? Okay. Okay, I'll call this meeting to order at 5:31. Our president is right here on the phone, but I will run the meeting here for him. Okay, if you'll stand and join me with a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, if I could get an adoption of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda for February 21st, 2023 as submitted.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next is any recognitions and proclamations.
I didn't have any.
No?
I'm not ready for this. Okay.
Not ready for this?
No. All right, you go.
Okay. All right, well, I'll start out with just recognizing our girls basketball team that made it to the playoffs. Our wrestling team that the number that went to the state tournament, I don't remember the exact number, and then we had a state champion at a 190-pound weight class, Coy Bowser, right? Bowser. So recognize him and the rest of the team and the coaches and everybody that involved with that. And then also we had participation in the parade, the Magnificent Seven, marching down the street playing their instruments. And that's pretty much all I have. Joe, do you have anything?
No, I just appreciate everybody stepping up and handling the affairs day to day and keeping us going and keeping our head above water. Great job.
Okay, over to you.
Well, I do have several things, including some of the things Mr. Alexander mentioned, but congratulations to our girls soccer and basketball teams who made it to postseason play, and of course our Wickenburg Wranglers wrestling team. So we're very proud of Coach Coy Bowser. I believe he's our first ever wrestling state champion, so good job for him.
At least 16 years.
In at least 16 years, okay? And then I do, since it's happened since our last meeting, I do want to congratulate our district spelling bee winners. Walter Peak hosted our district spelling bee. It seems like it was yesterday, but it might have been a few weeks ago. But our first place winner, Levi Barton, is a Walter Peak student. Second place, Orion Sopa, is a Hacienda student, and his teacher might be here tonight. Is that correct? Last year teacher. And then third place was Leah Wagner, who's a student at Festival Foothills, and it was a wonderful spelling bee, so congratulations to them. And then congratulations to all of our career and technical education students who've been participating in winter and spring competitions. Many of them have requested to travel to state competitions, and we're very proud of what they've done and representing Wickenburg. And then we had a massive, very appreciative attendance at Wickenburg Gold Rush Days Parade with students and staff across the district, and we were well represented. So that is all.
All right, sounds good. Okay, next up is our high school report. Art Gorman.
Good evening, Dr. Mendini and members of the board.
Okay. Anything else you want to say? Okay. We'll start off over here with Randy.
As usual, great report, Mark. I really like how you use your staff and teachers and everybody for all their input into that thing. I don't think you miss a single thing that's going on in that in the school. It's real great to see all that. Question I had, I saw that it was mentioned during PE and weight training that they use military recruiters, and the art club was working with the Army recruiter office. Do we have a local?
They come up out of the Valley. So I don't believe they're local to us here in Wickenburg, but Surprise office. They come up, and then a part of them are with the reserves. So they'll come in and they, like I said, they work. They're commonly on campus, to be quite honest, and then they're doing some work with JAG. They've also then worked into what you saw in there with the PE class, where they were doing some physical training type stuff, so they can kind of get a feel for what that might be like. And so they're common around campus. We have a couple of them that are there quite often.
Good. Yeah, I like seeing these the outside entities coming in and working with the school.
We've explored some other options, and I've seen them. In fact, I met one of them that comes to our school at another school, and they had this huge obstacle course that they it's like a blow up, and they bring it out to activities. And I've been talking to them about how we could maybe utilize them at some of the other events that we have going on, just to show off what they're doing, as well as just have some fun with them along the way.
Sure. And it, might interest spark a little interest with some of the kids in, the armed services and stuff like that.
I do know we have several that they have that are either planning to or already have committed. So, and the interesting thing I learned about the reserves was how early they can get involved with the reserves, which I wasn't aware of. Like after their junior year, if they're a certain age, they can do basic, and that starts the clock ticking for them. So even I'm learning things from them.
Great. I love the write-up with the JAG. Sounds like this class is just beyond successful that we're anticipating for that.
I think, I feel like we've got the right pieces in place right now, and it's really moving in a positive direction. And to be honest, I probably could have filled as many pages as we have with things that they have going on. They have so much going on. So when you say I try to hit a little of everything, they've got so much happening that it's really crazy.
Great.
They're doing an awesome job, though.
Great.
We have some great kids over there. Just one thing, I don't know if it was highlighted in there, but something to be proud of. The dynamic that goes into making up the JAG class, and first semester, no failures.
Wow.
So.
Great. That's cool. I love to hear, FFA, one of the largest classes that we have going on like that. And am I not mistaken, this is first year for the FFA, or is this?
Juan's second year.
Okay.
With F. And first year for FFA, or
Yeah.
let me get all my acronyms straight here.
Yes.
Okay.
Future Farmers of America, right?
Yes.
And so Juan, that is the first year for FFA.
Okay.
Second year Juan with FBLA.
Right, yeah. And that was also through the ratings in the competition for FBLA. That was just great to hear about that. One thing I know, their sports medicine programs have really been going well. And I wanted to know if we still have any students in training at like a Champion and stuff like that, like an hour or two during their school.
We have had them training this year, so I'd have to double check that to see if they're still in the process of doing that work with them. I don't have that knowledge right now off the top of my head to be able to say.
I know.
I can check on that. Yeah.
Last year or the year before, I had gone to. I had to go to Champion for some therapy, and met one of our students there.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. That's great. Okay. Okay. That's pretty much all I had on there. Great write-up again. Thanks,
Thank you.
Mark.
Appreciate it.
Sure.
Yeah. I love all the new pictures. I think that's great that you guys are adding a lot more pictures to the detail of what's going on at the high school. And there's a lot more meat to this report than I think you've ever given us. So thank you. There's a lot more detail in here, and I appreciate it. Obviously, all the programs that the high school are doing, the Honor Society, FBLA, FFA, JAG, the sports medicine program, all of those things are just amazing for our high school kids. And I don't know if the community realizes just how cool it is to have all of these different programs. I mean, even when I was in high school, which is a very long time ago, and it wasn't here, but we didn't have this many programs doing that well across the board in such a small school. So I think it's really great. A couple of negatives. I didn't know about the drive-in movie night until it had already happened. So are you getting a lot of people show up for that?
It's not a huge turnout, no. It's advertised pretty well across campus,
Okay.
but the drive-in, maybe the weather. Maybe it's the weather. I don't know.
The weather has not been good to us this year.
There is a core group, though, that is pretty consistent there.
Yeah, good. I did see the teacher feedback. I think there's a lot of positive and also a lot of negative. It seems kind of like even across the board for Project Momentum. Do you have a plan yet for how you're going to try to help that?
Yeah, we've been working on that as a staff. We reflected on it this past January at our PD. We also have been looking at it through promo, which we had in January. We have some more follow-up with it tomorrow. And we're gathering feedback from staff on how, there's so many different areas there. So we try to target what are some big pieces that we can work on that there's some commonality around. Let's say communication. So there were numerous, comments on there. So we've done a few things already and put some different means of communication into play. And in our recent survey, that came back pretty positive, that most really appreciated the fact that we were doing, what we are doing with respect to that. And then we have a couple of others that we have sort of targeted, and we're going to talk about one tomorrow morning. And there's this feel somewhat, I think, in the high school, especially if you're not part of a bigger group like math, let's say where there's 4 teachers, where you're sort of on an island. Mm-hmm. And so there can be a little bit of a lonely feel. And even before that, I was a high school teacher, so I remember teaching science. We didn't have PLCs, but you kind of shut your door and you did what you did, and you are a little bit isolated. And so there can be that feel. So we're looking at how we can do some things like around creating a social type group that acknowledges, certain things that are happening across campus, that can help to plan, to do some things that can help to involve people that may be feeling that they're not quite as connected because they're in that island. So there's some elements like that we're trying to address in a variety of ways. And
it looks like we're 29 students down from the first of the year. And I noticed we have a lot, it seems to me like a lot, now I don't know comparatively from last year, but a lot of more disciplinary problems. And we hear about fights and things like that, and it seems like there's more. Is there more this year?
There have been more fights this year than there were last, for sure. I would say, I felt like our fights were pretty low last year.
Yeah.
I think we only had a handful.
I don't remember hearing about many, yeah.
I don't know that it's over the top crazy, but there are definitely more than what we had last year. I don't have the number. I guess I do have the number.
No, I saw it on there. Yeah, there's a lot.
Half dozen maybe?
It just, the overall discipline numbers seem higher. Is there something we're doing differently? Is it just the kids? Do we have any ideas?
Specific situations, I think, when it comes to those type of situations like fighting, it's based on generally what the disagreement is that's going on with kids and how maybe they're able to cope with that, and not coping with it in a positive way. And so, yes, there's probably something behind it, but overall, I still feel like the culture's been pretty solid. It hasn't felt a lot different, but then we have these incidents that, like that just happen. And, I guess trying to educate kids better on how we can deal with struggles.
Yeah, and I know that in the past, especially at the middle school, they've done a lot of things with kind of helping kids get along with each other better. Are there programs like that? Barbara probably knows better.
We don't have a lot, I guess, happening with how to get along better with one another. It's pretty well focused on in general on the content and the teaching, but there are lessons that are embedded along the way that do happen, and obviously we try to send a message through no place for hate, that there's ways that we can deal with situations, and just because we don't get along doesn't mean we have to go to that go in that direction, I guess, to resolve it.
Okay. That was everything on my list.
That's all on your list?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did it take all your stuff?
No, but yeah, over on the disciplinary section, I know, it just seems like this year, so much in the alcohol and drugs has been, to me, just seems like it was a lot more than we've had before. And it's one of those problems that I don't know what we do to solve. I mean, other than catch them, stop them,
One of the things that, just to kind of address that, you might have seen in there where Joe has got some of our cohort groups running right now. And so we were trying to find an angle where we could maximize, get into a lot of classrooms with a lot of kids. And so we talked with our P and weights teachers, and we set up a cohort for each of them. So you figure there's 5 classes, and they're 25-ish, probably to 30 per section. So we are hitting about 125, let's just say roughly, in weights, and then another 125 in math. So about 50% of our population right there. And that's primarily what the delivery is. He's working with them on, some of the legal aspects of, and the negative aspects around alcohol, drug, tobacco, vaping, all of those. That is their angle when he's working in that classroom with those 2 different groups. So
yeah. I mean, they're bringing it in from outside. So, I mean, that's, where are they getting it from? That's one of the places that, but we're not gonna fix that. But anyway, that's just my thought. Since you was talking about this one, I thought I would mention it. On the Galileo data, you have a section there that says college prep.
yes.
And I was just wondering, what does that entail?
So students that are juniors and would be in an honors class, like if you're looking math-wise, Algebra 2 is the standard junior level Galileo test. If they're beyond Algebra 2, then they take the college one. So if they're in pre-calc, if they're in a calc class, the college algebra, but they're a junior still testing, that's the test that they take.
Okay.
And the numbers are usually a lot smaller. It might be 30 kids that take that one opposed to 120.
So that goes, I mean, that's everything from ELA, math, science, all of them. That's okay. All right, thank you. I was just curious, do we have any kids in AP classes?
We have AP English classes.
Okay.
But our English class, for us to make a section go, the number, there's a kind of a critical mass, I guess, that we have to hit before that actually would kick into play.
Okay.
And if we don't have that number, then typically what we do is try to find them a different direction to go. So a lot of them, we used to take, as seniors, take an AP level course as a senior. Now we are filtering them more into some of our online college English classes, so they're taking English 101, going that route instead, because the numbers aren't enough to justify it, to have that class. But so there's fewer than what maybe we'd like to have.
Yeah. So we have that program that you started a couple years ago, the college.
AZSOC.
What is it?
Yeah, it's AZSOC.
Okay.
And that's where most of them are taking it.
Okay.
Some take it through Rio, so they'll be, and if they go that route, then it's kind of on their own. They register for the class, they take the class, and they're taking it that way. But if they're doing it through AZSOC, then we register through us.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I'd be interested in the results of the ASVAB test that was given. Just how many of them actually qualify, for military entrance out of that number. We
do have our results back. The interpretation of those results is coming in the next few weeks, so I should have more information come, is it April that I'm back reporting? By the April report, to at least give you that by then, if not sooner.
I would just be interested to know how many of them qualified, because I read, just kind of as a side, I read articles that they say that out of the military age population, there's only 23% that can qualify in the country because of either ASVAB or physical fitness, one or the other. It just, so anyway, just something there. Yeah, your survey, the teacher survey, interesting results there. I was just kind of, taken by the one out of whatever you had, 36 responses, and I guess that's percentage numbers, but that we're lonely, in the school, and it just kind of.
That's actually the one I was kind of referring to from Ms. Webster's comment on it earlier. Was there's some that just have that feel, and you try to go away from that when you get into kind of where we are in today's high school.
Yeah.
You'd like them not to feel that way, feel like they're part of a team. And so that's one that we're working toward trying to resolve, because I think that's one that if we do a few things to get them involved, to provide those opportunities, that can be something we overcome pretty easily.
Okay.
Mr. Alexander, if I may clarify to all of the board members, that survey was designed to collect the teachers' perceptions, and they could pick up to 4 of those words.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of them picked more than 4, and the survey instrument we use doesn't shut them off at 4. So I think there were a few responses in that, but that's likely not the only feeling that they represented.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
okay, just to clarify.
But I understand. I bet it's just that one that kind of stuck out. Okay. All the I don't know whether you call it extracurricular activities, but the JAG, the FFA, that all their activities and everything, and I'm really impressed with the ag program. That amount of stuff that they are doing and involved in for a first year program, and I'd like seeing that. Coming through that myself through high school, I like to see them doing all this stuff. So, and they must be a lot smarter than me, because they have to take tests now to go to these judging contests. We just showed that. But anyway, great report. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mr. Malio, do you have anything?
Yes, thank you for remembering that I was here. I was getting lonely.
I almost forgot you to tell you.
There I am. Hey, Mr. Gorman, great report, as all my colleagues have already complimented and commented on. I'm glad that Susan brought up the survey, and then Mr. Alexander also touched on it. I just really, really hope that those things do get acted on in some way, so we don't just leave it hang, because the survey is only as strong as what you use it for. Dr. Remendini, clarification she gave really helped me too. I knew that people would be picking more than 4, or trying to pick more than 4, but I know. But the other thing I wanted to say, they covered everything else, but I did want to compliment and comment on the desk situation that Ms. Young and Ms. Rossler have. I think that was a neat, or a good buy from for you to get them those desks, because a collaboration system is, hopefully it turns out to be fruitful. I like the photos that we get to see with them, and how they're interacting and hopefully helping one another. But good job on that, and good report, Mr. Gorman. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All
Thank
ready?
you.
I guess that's it. Okay. All right, next up, we have the Virtual Academy, Mecklenburg Virtual Academy. Okay, Susan, you want to start off?
Sure. I don't have anything except really thank you for the information. I think it's all really good information. I think that you're covering a lot and a lot of different grade levels and a lot of different things.
Yes.
And so I'm excited that we have a lot of athletes that are in the WVA program still, and I'm excited that we have one that's going to play football at college. That's
Isn't that
really
crazy?
cool.
Great.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And I think, good information. Thank you. There's not a lot to ask you.
I know.
So,
I know.
yeah.
Okay, Randy?
Yeah, I'd like to just, echo what Susan had talked about, the, not only just athletes, but, some of the other activities and stuff that are campus activities that I like to see that some of the WVA students are attending and getting involved with. That's good. I always like to see it's not like, just putting them off to the side and everything, still getting involved with campus activities like that.
Right. That's one of the unique features of our school compared to other online schools, is that we do, as a district, provide those students opportunities to be involved with the local campus. In fact, I was with parents today coming from Colorado, and that was one of the questions: can my daughter still play basketball? So it's a feature that not all online schools have, so I think it kind of makes us special.
Yeah. And of course, because of this town being the cowboy town, the ropers and all that stuff.
For
I know
sure.
we have a lot of those students that come in, also.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe late in the year too, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. They're getting better about registering with us in the fall, even though they might be in Idaho, Washington, Utah, wherever they're going to be. But now we kind of are getting them, or their communities training them to enroll, start in August, and get on board sooner than later. But we still have, like in January, we picked up new ones then too. So.
Right. Yeah, that's great. And then just maybe you can give me a little explanation of at the beginning here, where for enrollment, it was explained that it looked like we stayed the same.
We did, yes. Right.
But to me, it didn't look like that. You bulletized the ads, but I didn't see where it came from. We're decreasing to.
So 15 of our students from the fall transferred to the high school. So 15 left us to go to the high school. We picked up 22 from the high school, so we picked up a little bit more than left us. Some of the, I think, 8 of them were withdrawn for lack of attendance, just enrolled but didn't actually do school. And so that was, 6th grade through 12th grade. So some of them left us. A few of them moved to other districts, back to their home district. They decided that they wanted to be part of, in this particular instance, wanted to be part of their home school in Montana versus staying with us. So there were a variety of reasons that students left, and then the influx of the new ones came in.
Okay. All right. Okay. But yeah, thanks again for the report.
But
I don't really have anything else other than it's going to be cold in Montana. We're not playing football.
I don't know why. He's psyched for it, though. He's ready for it.
Yeah, it's great. But no, I pretty much covered everything that I was going to say anything about. So, but a good report, and glad you're there.
Thank you.
Joe?
Yes, Mrs. Peterson, good report. Short and sweet. I like it that way. And thank you for clarifying that some of our students that are misplaced are now placed with your school for various reasons. I'm glad that we recaptured them. That's important. The BHAG for Edgenuity, I'm glad that the trainings are there for our teachers to be and speak with the annuity specialists. I think that's pretty important, because when I was getting my hands on Edgenuity-wise last school year, well actually the school year before that, it was pretty important because it can be a little confusing.
For sure.
I mean, it's great once you learn it.
Right.
So I'm glad that teachers are learning it. So thank you for that.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So next up is the Vulture Peak principal with their report.
Good evening, Dr. Mendini, President Malio, members of the board. Can I add, Dr. Mendini mentioned the spelling bee. A young man from Vulture Peak made it to the 3rd round of the spelling bee. So we were very proud. Yeah, he made it to the 3rd round. Iconic, I believe, is what his mom said was the word.
Oh, no.
Oh,
But we were very proud.
Good for him.
Good, very good. Okay, ready? Huh?
You start.
Me start? Okay. All right, well, let's, I'm gonna start with the discipline report.
Okay.
Just, the total number, there is quite large.
Yes, sir.
So, any thoughts on that?
Oh, yes. Yes. We've done quite a bit. I mean, behavior has been our main focus this year. We've spent a lot of time. We've just hired recently a new counselor, and she is spending a lot of time working with our students that we've identified as needing the more support. She's starting with just meeting with them individually. We're going to start doing small groups with them for different areas that we've recognized. We're having parent meetings with students. As a matter of fact, I had one right before I got here. We are doing a lot more parent phone calls. We're going to start getting a little more creative. We started doing campus cleanup, just anything we can do to try and find some different ways to support the kids, because they are struggling with regulating themselves for whatever reason. And I meet with the counselor, the new counselor, almost every day, and then Amy Monosmith, we still have her 2 days a week. We meet constantly to come up with some ideas to help students with that support, work with our teachers. We meet with them monthly to look at how are we doing, what's working, what's not working, what can we incorporate to. We have seen a decrease in the referrals, but we still have some high flyers that we're working with.
As you know, when you're dealing with that much, it's hard to teach class.
Yes, it is.
All right. All your the Galileo stuff here. ELA, obviously, you mentioned that in your remarks, but just they're just not, they're going backwards. So I know, and the amount of discipline may be part of that problem.
Definitely is a attributing factor, and we do know that the gap classes, when I have the deeper conversations with teachers, like what is the difference, and the gap classes are the one thing. We are looking at extending our class period so we can integrate more interventions into the classroom rather than the pull-out type, but do some more interventions within, because the gap class, the math gap class, say that faster, has shown to improve our scores and the kids' just understanding of the material. We are seeing a lot of gaps from the kids still from the time we took off, and we're trying to fill those holes in.
Yeah. Okay. It's good. What else do I have here? Okay, that's about all I have. So, but I like all the little stuff you added in here with the little pictures, your javelina pets that you have.
We got to practice a hold.
Are you feeding those things or what?
Oh.
Because they were eating the baseball field last year. So.
Yeah, they moved on to the backfield now. I think the high school started out, and then they chased them over to us, and then we chased them back.
Okay, all right, yeah. Okay, no, that's all I have. Go ahead.
Okay. I love the data that you're giving, and not just because most of you in the audience and listening can't see this, but we're getting a lot of information about not just what's happening in the schools, but it's broken out in a way where you can see the behaviors and where they're happening and how they're happening. And I really liked seeing the monthly referrals and how that's gone so far down from the beginning of the year. But then the way that you talk about how you're going to fix it, not just what the problem is, because we know that the middle school has a lot of issues. We know that there's a lot of problems with behavior students, but also to know that you're working on solutions for it is the best thing that we as board members can see, because then we feel like, okay, there's progress, and I know it's your first year here, so we're really excited about that. I am, at least. And I was excited to hear about the new counselor because I know firsthand that she's going to be amazing. And then just to see that the rewards for good behavior and, you know, the National Junior Honor Society, all of the honor roll awardees, to see their pictures here, like, because that's the one thing we hear a lot about, the bad kids and who's getting in trouble and the discipline problems and the kids getting kicked out of school or the kids having bigger issues. But you don't get to hear about all of the good students. And there are a lot of good students listed in here, and there's a lot of good information about all of the things they're doing so well. So I just want to say thank you for sharing that, because it's great, and I'm really excited about all of the good things that are going on, but then also the way that you're looking at the data and finding solutions and ways to make it better. So
Thank you.
Thank you. That's all I had. Randy?
Good report, very informative. You know, a lot of the numbers stuff, not happy about, but, you know, you understand it is the middle school, and this age group is pretty tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, the aggression number's 35. Wow, that's a lot, half the year. And then, I just kind of one thing I thought, is there any common theme that comes out, or pops out for the school policy violations, or is it just all over the board?
School policy violations, that covers a lot. A lot of that is classroom disruption. Is that the one you're talking about?
The 180.
Yeah, there's a lot because there's no specific coding for it. It all gets grouped together in there. And a lot of that is classroom disruption and disrespect. So that kind of all gets grouped together. So it looks like a lot. It could be about 3 different things: disruption, disrespect, those types of things. But yeah, a defiance.
Okay.
It's a lot.
All right. And let's see. And of course, yeah, the test data, that was very disappointing, and hoping now that we can work on looking for solutions here to getting over that. Glad to see that, yeah, you adding some gap classes back in. And disappointed that we had to wait this long to have to be able to, you know, take care of that, get them back.
Yeah, we had one of our teachers, we had to reconfigure her schedule because we just had to work with the staff we had. So, and we've decided there's some different things that we could really focus on, like our technology classes. I think we could do better with providing more gap classes and integrate technology into some of the other areas. That's been a conversation we've been having. We're trying to find more ways to integrate rather than make this all be separate, like here's this class, here's this class, let's integrate a lot of these learning experiences, and then we can provide more of that intervention time for the kids that need it. So that's kind of been our focus lately.
As I knew that, you know, towards the end of the year last year, quite a few of those gap classes were helping out, and then start out without anything and then have to build up to, let's get those going again. We needed that. I'm glad to see we got them going. As Sue said, very good on having the full-time counselor now. That should see a great improvement.
We're already seeing some.
I'm sure already with the emotional behaviors and everything. That's great. I like to see the celebrations that you've got now, and the awards for the PBIS and honor roll. That's, I mean, those recognitions mean a lot to those kids. The number of inductees for the National Junior Honor Society, that's
17.
phenomenal. 17 of them, that was great.
We're super excited about that. That's tomorrow.
Yeah.
The celebration.
And yeah, the counseling update was good too. So very good report. Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good.
Okay, Mr. Malio.
Yes, sir. Hi, Mr. Davey, and I really am happy when I look at your report, I see page 10, and I see a picture of you there, so at least I can look at you and I see it's hard to hold up my face, but I can see you on your name on the wall for a second. Anyway, I'd like to see if there's anything that we are able to help with to implement those gap classes that we so desperately need up there. If you think it's something or whatever, I know Dr. Remendini's got her little magic hat. She can pull some tricks out. Because it's going to be very important. We have to get those. We can't just keep talking. We need them. We have to get them. Because by looking at the data reports that we have here to look at, it's very necessary. And we're in our third quarter, so we need to do something. But anyway, great report. My colleagues have already touched on the good, the bad, and the fun. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate the report, and thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next, we have a call to the public, and in accordance with the Arizona Open Meeting Law, the board members are not allowed to respond or comment or ask questions of the speakers regarding any issues because these things are not on the agenda. So, okay, so we have two here, and we'll start with Mary Wilcox. And Casey over here has the timer, and you have 2.5 minutes.
Hello, my name is Mary. I came before you as a concerned mother of a student being bullied. Here's some statistics. 1 out of 5 students report being bullied. Children with disabilities are 2 to 3 times more likely to be bullied. 1 in 4 teachers sees nothing wrong with bullying. 30% of victims turn to self-harm after being bullied. 1 in 10 students drop out of school because of bullying. Approximately 160,000 teens per day skip school because of bullying. Over 67% of students think that schools respond poorly to bullying, with a high percentage of students believing that adult help is infrequent and ineffective. This was provided by Perkins Law. I'd like to share with you what's been going on in the past 2 years. On August 18, 2001, I saw a kid being bullied and reported it. On 10/20/21, my son and a few other kids were depantsed. No police report was made. They said they were just being boys. 12/10/2021, my son being bullied again. You suck, from people at the basketball. 12/11/2021, asked for superintendent to contact me, and as of 1/14, she did not. 1/18/2022, my son being bullied again. 1/18/2022, asked if Attorney General could come speak about anti-bullying. Teacher responded they come 4 times a year, but only speak once about anti-bullying. 1/4/2022, Speak Up, Stand Up, Save a Life month. Speech was for February 1st. 1/20/22, my son was bullied for the 4th time. He cried and got angry. 1/26/22, says my son, bully said that my son should be dead. 2/19/22, I was told to bring extra clothes for my son having accident. 2/9, I told them that he should be going to the bathroom every 2 hours, reminded. 2/17/2022, my son being bullied, saying he is ugly and doesn't belong at school at recess. 5/25, school shooting in Texas on Tuesday. 9/1, my son submitted, 2022, a bully report, being called a sped kid. 9/6, my son was shoved from behind. Kid was expelled, and he got a post-concussion. 9/15/2022. Is that it?
That's your 2.5 minutes.
Okay. Can I just say 2 sentences, please? Okay, sorry. Okay, what I'm asking today is that the school anti-bullying be made a priority. I'm concerned with my son's safety and everyone after him. I want to see consistent disciplinary action. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, next we have, I think Daisy Trotter, is that right? Yeah. Okay.
You okay?
I'll help you. I know how it is to have a foot that's going to sleep.
I know I'm not supposed to talk about the curriculum and stuff, and we've talked a couple times.
Can you speak up a little, please?
Oh, but I wasn't even going to speak today, but when we pledged allegiance, I was like, oh, that's so neat. Are they doing that in the schools? You know? And I'm concerned about that. I was told last time I was here that there's a curriculum I can look at. I don't know if somebody could give me a website. I don't have a pencil and paper with me, but I'd like to know if they're saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to know if they're being. We talked, Doctor, about the constitutions up on the walls. But after I left here, I thought, but is it being taught? You know? So I would like to know how I can find out this stuff, because I know you guys can't say anything, and I know, you know, I can't ask you specific questions, but that's all. I was excited to see the Pledge of Allegiance. I think that's wonderful. I hope the schools are doing it.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Next, we have the consent agenda.
All right.
Anybody, you need something pulled?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
Anybody need some pulled?
Well, you said that, you know,
I
I
was
thought you were gonna
I
jump.
was waiting for my time.
Oh, okay, your time.
You ready?
Mr. Malio.
Yes,
Okay, do you need anything pulled off the consent agenda?
I do not. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the governing board. Oh, sorry. I'll make a motion. I can't find the consent agenda. I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items for February 21st, 2023 as submitted.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and it's approved. Okay, next is the action items, and first up, we have our financial reports by Aaron Johnson.
Good evening, Mr. President, Dr. Remendini, members of the board. Our financials are steady and looking good. You know, month over month, no huge expenses. Our budget balances are positive. We are in compliance. There's no surprises to the best of my knowledge. I do also want to mention that with the override of the AEL, that makes this budget even looking better, which thank you for approving the raises this evening for our staff of a 7% increase for next year. So I do appreciate that very much. And, you know, thank you for our legislatures for getting that AEL overridden so that we can continue our operating expenses as we planned and move into next year with positive balances.
Okay, any questions, anything?
Nope.
Hey, Mr. Malio, questions about the finances?
Oh, no questions. Thank you for the report.
Okay,
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the financial reports as submitted.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, next is the first reading of the policy. There, any discussion or anything on that first reading? Anything? Okay. Is there, I guess there's no action in that one, it's just
No.
just a reading, okay. All right, then we're down to any items for future agendas. Anybody have anything? No? Okay. And you have your announcements and calendar there. Anybody want, any comments on that? Anybody? Anybody want anything?
The high school musical is April 20th and 21st. and my 12-year-old is in it.
Cheap plug.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and, typical, nice decorated calendar here with all the pictures and everything.
That's Casey's favorite part of her job.
All the calendars and everything and all
Fun pictures.
all the pictures on it. Okay, all right,
Mr. Alexander,
yes, sir.
I have a question for you.
Okay,
If it's okay with the other board members that always get to make the motions, can I make a motion over?
Yes.
sure.
I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you.
Get better, Joe.
Thanks,
You get to
Joe.
do the gavel. Do the gavel,
Thank
Ron.
you.
Tap the gavel, Ron.
You gotta
Oh.
tap the gavel.
Meeting is
Nice
adjourned.
job. Thank you very much.